everybody, welcome to the show. I just want to show you guys what I'm eating here today. As a raw vegan, I have a pretty unique diet. I eat raw vegan food. I've been doing it for many years. And the video today is not about raw vegan food. The video today is about my amazing wife that made this raw vegan food for me. I mean, every night, she's just such an amazing person and a great wife and everything a wife is supposed to be and more. And I wanted to make this video because a lot of people contact me about issues they're having in their relationships and issues in their life. And you know, there's many reasons why people of the world have issues in their relationships, and a lot of them don't have issues in their relationships like believers do, but believers have so many issues. A lot of people contact me, whether it's a doctrine issue or something, that they just don't have great relationships. They don't have good relationships. Now, some of you made some mistakes that I've made as well, because we're brought up in a society today where we're not taught biblical roles, and we're not taught biblical relationships, and we're not taught many different things. So we fall into traps and we get involved. Many of us got into a relationship when we weren't even believers with somebody who wasn't a believer. But we have to have some hope or some idea that at some point we're going to change in life, right? And you know, it's just it's not our fault that many of us were brought up in this society we live in, because very few people are teaching about relationships, and from a biblical standpoint, and just from a good standpoint, from in general. Even if you take the Bible stuff out of it, there's still some basic concepts of relationship that we should learn and understand. But this video today is not for those of us that have gotten in a situation in the past like that, and there's other videos of what to do when you're in that situation. But this video is for younger people, or possibly older people, when you're looking for a spouse, when you're looking to get into a relationship with somebody. And there's definitely the Bible context of what a woman and a man of Yahweh should be. And there's not necessarily a specific guideline for courting or something like that specifically, but there is, you know, and there's a model, there's a way to do it, and so on. And many of us, like myself, our parents aren't believers. We're not living in a community with other believers, so we can't really follow a biblical model of men. Have your father, you know, watch over the situation, or women, you know, have your father talk to that father, and all that stuff, which sounds great, but it's not realistic or practical in today's world, right? Some of us are in situations I was in where our relationships didn't work out. We're older in life. We're trying to maybe get back in another relationship. And some of us are just young teenagers with parents that are not biblically based or something like that. But there's a couple of things here. I mean, first of all, men have to be men and women have to be women. And Yahweh made us all in a specially unique way. And men and women are so valuable in every way. We are part of the body. But there are things that we learn, and as we get older, hopefully we understand. And I can tell you there are a lot of people that have had, or some people I know that have had successful marriages over the year, but I've seen more marriages fall apart than are successful. And I've learned a lot from those people whose marriages didn't work. And then many of them got it right afterwards, because they had to learn the hard way from their own mistakes and so on. Point being for this video is, young men and young women, if you're courting somebody for a relationship or for marriage, you want to be really careful in your selection or your agreement of who Yahweh selected for you. Once emotions get in the way, it's hard to make a good decision. I'm going to give you some pointers right now, specifically maybe 3 pointers that are going to hopefully help you. Okay, so the first pointer I'm going to give you is have good biblical counsel in your life to make decisions when you're under stress, Or, in other words, don't make important decisions when you're under, and I don't want to use the word stress because that's kind of gives a connotation that something's going bad. Let's use the word, and I don't want to necessarily use the word excited because that gives the word of something's good. Let's say the word when you're at an emotional level, okay? So don't make an important decision when you're emotional. So that's tip number one if you want to find the right mate. Don't make an important decision when you're emotional. And I will tell you, who you are going to marry is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make in your whole life. So my advice, and not only for young people, my advice is for older people that aren't married either, is do not make this important decision when you're in an emotional state. And if you're in a relationship where you're thinking about marriage, guess what? You're in an emotional state. It's not you're not in the right place to make a decision about marriage because you're not doing it off your intellect. You're doing it off of your emotions, and that can get you in a lot of trouble. So as the ice cream truck is coming down the block, I'm not going to get emotional and go get some ice cream. I don't eat ice cream, but point being, have some good biblical counsel in your life. Specifically, at least one, but most likely 2 or 3 people in your life that you completely trust everything. You like the position they're in life. You agree with, it doesn't have to be all of their doctrine, but a good part of your doctrine, the important part of doctrine to you they agree with. And just, like I said, you don't need to agree 100% with them, but you like where they're at in life. I've learned a long time ago, to mimic the people, not necessarily you want to be like, but you want successful people if you want to be successful. Don't follow the pattern of unsuccessful people if you want to be successful. Well, when it comes to marriage and successful marriages, don't follow the pattern of people that don't have a successful marriage or vice versa. Whatever, I guess you get my point. So have 2 or 3 people in your life that you have this, and hopefully this isn't people you just find at the last second. These are people that'll be in your life really close to you. So when that person comes along that you're interested in, you're not going to make that decision. You're going to leave it up to these 2 or 3 people, and only after these people in your life have given you the okay to move forward, that's when you move forward. And some people say, well, what if we just pray to Yahweh? And if Yahweh says it, who cares what these other people says? Because Yahweh's word is the word that counts. Listen, to me, not the ice cream truck. Listen, I've heard many people tell me, or many divorced people tell me, oh, I heard from Yahweh, this was the woman for me, or this was the man for me. And it turned out it wasn't because they ended up divorced, right? So, again, when we're in an emotional state, we tend to, they say love is blind, right? That's not necessarily a good thing. So we tend to miss a lot of things. And we also tend to think we're hearing from Yahweh because we want to hear some kind of confirmation. But I'm not saying not to listen to Yahweh, but I'm saying our emotions get in the way of what we're hearing from Yahweh. So it's wise to have good counsel and have 2 or 3 people in your life that are in agreement. And if you go to them, and I do recommend that it's the same sex. So women have women and men have men. I don't recommend the other way around. But if you go to these 3 people, and if even one of them disagrees, it's not all steam forward ahead. But if they all 3 agree, that's a very good sign and very wise counsel. So that's number 1. That's the first thing, or one of the things. These aren't in particular order. That's number 1. The other thing is, number 2 is be careful when you're getting to know somebody about the webs that you create or the bonds that you create with them. I saw a great video by Miles Monroe, who's a wonderful preacher and pastor, and great videos. And he talks about the webs you create with people when you become personal with them. So if you say hello to somebody, that's just a good hi and bye hello. But then if you get their phone number, or you get their email address, or the social media, if you have a second conversation with them, every time you have a conversation with them, you're making the web stronger and stronger. And then as you get to know each other, when the web becomes, when you get to do stuff on a personal level and talk on a personal level, the web becomes stronger and stronger. So as you're getting to know this person, you're building a web. And do not get physical with this person, because once you get physical with this person, even if it's they're holding their hand, this web becomes so strong and so difficult to break. So you really have to have a good understanding and a fine line when you're getting to know someone of how personal you want to get with them, what information you want to share with them, and how you want to communicate with them until you got confirmation, I'll say, that this is something that's possible. And you just really don't, you want to take it slow is what I'm saying here. You don't want to rush into things, because when these red flags come up, it's hard to break these webs and that have been created. So that's something to really understand. And then the third thing, and I have many more tips, but the third tip I'm going to give here, and again, some of you might be laughing and say, who am I to tell you or to even suggest these suggestions? Well, I'm giving, these are, yeah, a lot of it's my experience, but a lot of it's biblically based. And more important, this is who I am. I'm a person with an amazing wife, and I've learned the hard way, and I got blessed the best way. So that's who I am. So the last tip is there's some characteristics and traits that we should understand and know of what it's going to take to have a successful marriage and so on, for men and women. You know, men, you know, are supposed to be providers, and women are supposed to be homemakers. You know, you want to make sure you're in agreement with the important things of life, at least the important roles of life. So, like a woman, men don't necessarily need to agree with you, but she should submit to you and let you lead. And men can't be dictators and you know, and just too hard. They gotta, but they still gotta be leaders. And you know, there's these characteristics that we should have, and you should have a list of the characteristics according to Scripture of what your husband or your wife should be like. And they shouldn't, I'm not talking about things like, oh, they have to weigh this much or be this tall and have this color eyes. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about characteristics, a unique list that you know, and that these people you consult with that will create something successful. This is going to weed out the things, many of the problems that come up so often. And once you have that list, stick to that list. Don't waver and get off the list and be like, oh, you know, but, and let your emotionals change your mind, your emotion change your mind. No, stick to it. And the person might not necessarily need to fit 100%, but pretty close if you want to be successful. So I'm going to eat this meal. One of my things was, I believe a wife should know how to cook, or at least prepare food and be willing to do so, not just once a week. She shouldn't be somebody who desires to go and eat out every night. She should be a homemaker. And that was on my list, and it's what I got. And, you know, I'm open to your opinions and your thoughts on this. Post below, but I pray and hope that this video helps younger people, older people, anyone out there looking to get into a relationship. And then my experiences will help you, just help you. All right, everybody. Have a great day, everybody. And Yahweh be with you always. And shalom, shalom.
I found the answer